now it is recording.
Okay,
like this is I can still chop it out, but like it's now we're going. Who are you?
My name is Micah Jewell.
Okay, all right. Welcome, Micah. Either way, we'll just wait. You ride road bike and mountain bike.
This is correct. Yes.
Okay. No gravel bike.
I do have a gravel bike.
Okay.
That's new to me.
Really? How new? Months.
This past fall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we'll call it months. Is there a preference? You got a right? Is there a preference of bikes you like to ride on?
I would probably say my mountain bike.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially like going out into the mountains and getting like some cool views, and then there's always something different. You could ride the same trail once a week, and there's still something different because nature and erosion is just.
That's true. That wouldn't be the case if you're riding on a paved road. It's that same paved road kind of thing. You can see a little bit different when you're out there in the woods dodging roots and trees. So let's go with, how did you get started like bike riding? Like where riding you do now. Let's go with that.
The riding I do now.
Yeah.
So it honestly started because of my parents.
Okay.
Once Blueberry Hill came out and like people started talking about it at Pocahontas.
Okay.
Everybody was talking about how it's this trail that's like a roller coaster.
Okay.
And I was just like, I want to try that. So we got some like really cheap bikes. I got a $30 bike from Goodwill.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Actually, it was $35, and I sold it for. It was $30, and I sold it for $35. Yep.
Okay. Markup.
Hustler.
Okay.
But I rode Pocahontas on that for like maybe a month.
Okay.
And upgraded from there and just never stopped.
Okay. So mountain biking first.
Mountain biking first. Yep.
Okay. When did you get a road bike?
So it's probably in 2017 or 2018. 2018 probably.
Okay.
My boss just kept bringing up it's a good way of cross training and kind of focusing on cadence more, and eventually I was like, all right, I'll try it. So I had done a couple road rides, and I finally kind of bit the bullet.
Okay. I mean, I guess the answer is like clearly mountain biking for the same distance is harder.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So you got a road bike, 2018, mountain biking. So what was your progression? You started mountain biking in 2017. What year?
I probably started mountain biking in like 2016.
Okay. And this was like just like I'm just riding around doing Pocahontas.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. When did it? At some point, so it sounds like in 2018 you were doing some kind of training. At some point.
2018, I started trying to ride more consistently, and I think I even did some races.
Okay.
I might have done like 2 or 3.
And you just like, so you just like signed up for a race, or like where did it go from like I'm just riding to like I want to compete?
So I had some friends at the shop that were gonna do Monster Cross. Actually, Monster Cross was my first race.
Okay.
And I wanted to just give it a shot. It sounded cool. They said there's gonna be a whole bunch of people there, and I wanted to just see what I could do.
Yeah.
18-year-old me was just like, oh, I bet I could go out there and crush all those people, and that was not the case at all. So yeah, it was. I started with that, and then after that, I was hurting afterwards, but I thought it was cool. So I was like, I wanna give this a shot.
You did the 25 lap for the race?
Yes.
Okay. Had you done 25 by the time you raced? Had you done that far where you weren't your time of racing wasn't like
We had pre-written the course.
Okay.
Minus like the parts that you can't ride until the day of the race.
Okay.
But we had pre-written the course like once or twice before that. So
okay. So you were familiar with the terrain. You'd done roughly close to the distance.
Yeah.
Okay. So you did that race. How'd you feel like during that race, man? if you can recall.
I was cold. Very cold.
Yeah.
I was really excited, and I wasn't going all out like the whole time.
Okay.
You know how those races, you get out there and you're like, you feel like you're dying the whole time.
Imagine, yeah.
So originally they wanted me to be this thing they called the Bare Ass Bandit.
Okay.
And we had a pair of shorts that were striped, and then on the butt it had a butt. So I did all of Monster Cross in that. And the rule was anybody that high-fived the Bare Ass Bandit during the ride got a free tune-up. The first 3 people to do it. So I did the whole ride. There's probably a picture of me somewhere just like laying on the ground in these butt shorts. But
oh, thank you.
Yeah, it was a cool experience. So
okay.
I was dog tired at the end.
Yeah.
And I actually raced for the juniors, and I thought, man, I'm gonna crush these kids. And again, I was probably like 4th place out of all these kids, and I was like, there's 2 girls that beat me. 2 girls that were like 3 years younger than me, 3 or 4 years younger than me, and I was just like, I was humbled.
Yeah, yeah. You know, there's always somebody faster, and you don't know who's gonna show up for these races, man.
Exactly.
Okay, wait. When did you start working at Molly's?
That would be 2017 as well.
Okay.
So after I had started like mountain biking more consistently, one of my friends was like, "You should really figure out how to learn how to work on your bike." Mm-hmm. And so he had been like a really loyal customer of Molly's, and he was like, "You should just go in and see if you can work there, or if maybe they'll just teach you."
Yeah.
So we went in, and I can't say I asked. My mom asked.
It's fine.
But
job.
We asked, and they were like, "We can't hire you right now, but if you want to come in and learn, you can."
Okay.
And then within like couple weeks, if that, I had already known how to use the register.
Okay.
And they were like, "Can you work Saturday afternoons?" And I was like, "Okay." Mm-hmm. So nice. Never filled out an application.
See, that's solid. You got it, and you've been working there since then, right? Okay. Mm-hmm. Nice.
Going on 5 years.
That's good job stability, man. Put that on a resume. It's not even a joke there. You have to put that on a resume. Favorite thing of working at the bike shop? A few favorite things. Let's go with 3.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll put you down with 1. Yeah.
Number 1's gonna be people.
Okay.
Like my boss and my coworkers, we're all like friends and family pretty much, you know. So we joke around with each other. We'll do stuff together sometimes. Mm-hmm. It's just, it doesn't feel like that cold work environment, you know. Like that's my favorite part of it. Okay. We'll joke around and stuff like we've done pranks on each other and all sorts of things, you know.
Awesome.
And then it's cool as someone who likes the sport to just, you get to see different kinds of bikes every day, you know, the most expensive bikes or interesting bikes even, like, you know, last year we had a 10-foot tall unicycle come in.
Really?
Yeah. And I had no idea how this dude was about to get on this unicycle, and he showed us.
Yeah. I
was baffled, to say the least.
I can't think of the logistics without like a wall nearby.
He got 1 foot on, and then he just like climbed it like a monkey, like a spider monkey.
And then just was bouncing. Okay.
And it was just bouncing up there. Like I would be dead if I tried that.
Yeah. I saw unicyclers at my first mountain bike unicycle was in Monster Cross.
Right. So one of those guys actually did a mountain bike race on one of those unicycles, and it was like a really rooty, like pretty tough course.
It seems real impractical, but I understand. I can see the appeal. Like you're just committed to it. Like it's a commitment to like I am definitely going to unicycle.
Oh yeah.
And I'm going to do a bike race. I'm going to ride through Pocahontas on this thing. Okay, so least favorite thing. working at a bike shop, if there's anything.
Walmart bikes all the way.
Okay. Right. Okay.
So like, oh, you know what? This can be a PSA actually.
Okay.
If you have a Roadmaster, it has been sitting in your shed for more than a year.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'll give it 3 years. We'll give it 3 years. You can buy a new bike.
Just
Buy a new bike.
Just.
I get all these Roadmasters. They come in and it's like, I think it just needs tubes, and I'm like, this thing wasn't even built right the first time.
Oh.
And you end up spending an hour on trying to get this bike to work how it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Spider webs all over the bike. It's so much fun.
Oh man,
it's lovely.
Occasionally I encounter people who are occasional riders, and I'll meet them and I'm like, oh yeah, where do you keep your bike? Oh, it's in the shed.
I don't even mind. You know what? I don't mind the shed if it's a good shed. Like it's like somewhat protected.
Yeah.
I've had bikes come in from like a barn.
Oh really?
Oh my goodness. I had a bike where there were ants coming out of the frame.
Oh no.
Earwigs.
No, that seems, but people's riding experience is different. Their level of commitment and to it is very different.
This is true.
I believe that we have a different level of concern for our bicycles.
Yes.
I've got a room that has a bike in it, and I'm like, I should just make the room for bicycles, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But I hope we encourage everyone to ride.
Oh yeah.
Right?
That said, I mean, I have nothing against owning a Walmart bike.
Right.
I just take care of it, and then a lot of times people will come into the shop, and being in the area we are, we get a lot of people looking for a $200 bike, $150 bike, and I don't have that.
Yeah.
So I'll recommend to them, you can go to Walmart or Target, just bring it back. There's no charge. Just bring it back. Let us run through it and make sure they built it right.
Oh,
because
awesome.
we want it to be safe.
Yeah.
And we want it to be functioning.
Okay.
Otherwise, they're not going to enjoy riding at all.
Right. It's uncomfortable. Yeah. Things aren't working. The brakes aren't working. Yeah, that makes sense. And I will keep that in mind. I actually talked to some other people about cycling, and they asked what were the recommendations about going to get a bike, and I was like, check out your local bike shop.
Oh yeah.
Kind of thing. But I will keep that in mind. If you get a Walmart bike,
just get it checked out
and have it checked out.
Yeah.
I will keep that in mind when someone asks.
The guys that build them only get a 3-hour class on how to build bikes, and then they just get sent out there, and they get paid per bike. So it's they're just gonna kick it out as fast as they can to get on the next one.
Done. Yeah. Okay. Bike shop. Let's see. Mountain biking, road biking. What's your least favorite thing about mountain biking, if anything? What's something you like? It's just part of the experience. And you don't actually. It's just a rub. It's just a thing you don't particularly enjoy. It's clearly you love cycling, but I imagine it can't all be beaches and.
This is true. For one, I don't like that it's something that you normally have to plan a little bit more. Road biking, I can just throw my kid on and
just ride the road,
just hop on the road. But mountain biking, I have to do I have my bottles? Do I have my computer? Hold up, let me get changed. Now I gotta drive to Pocahontas.
Yeah, right.
Do I really want to ride the same trails all day? Which thankfully Pocahontas has so many awesome trails that I don't get bored too easily.
Yeah.
But yeah, normally that, and if I want to go and have a really amazing mountain bike day, I have to drive 2.5 hours. But that's probably my least favorite part of it.
Okay. All right. You already talked about that. It's something you enjoyed about the mountain biking. So you road bike. Least favorite part of road biking?
Riding with Andre.
Why?
He used to be slow.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, his FTP got way up here. So unless we get to unless we went and rode in the mountains right now, this guy is killing me all day long.
Yeah.
Nah, I love riding with Andre. To be honest, I would say my least favorite part about road biking would probably be headwind.
Oh, okay.
I hate headwind.
Really?
Yeah. It feels like climbing, but you're on a flat. Like,
yeah.
I don't mind. I love climbing.
Yeah.
And I love flats. Don't like give me a flat that feels like climbing.
Good point. Yeah. You're not even getting the benefit of like a view at the top of it. You know, it's just, it's just flat road with this high winds.
Exactly.
Okay. Most challenging cycling event. Let's say that at the time it was the most challenging. Let's put it that way. Like it was like, and in comparison, it still seems like it was the most challenging thing you've done. Yeah.
That I got two. They're kind of tied with each other.
We'll go with two.
So like it's stuck in between my first tour to Pocahontas.
Okay. Which
is supposed to be like pretty much a single track sampler of all the trails at Pocahontas.
Okay.
And I again, this was like a kind of cocky thing of me. I did Monster Cross that year. Mm-hmm. I think it was the first year I did Monster Cross. And I thought, I did all this training for Monster Cross. I'm good. And I didn't ride for like 3 weeks. Prior to Tour de Pocahontas.
Oh, okay.
And then Tour de Pocahontas comes around. And it's supposed to be like 30-some miles of mountain bike trails. And within like the first half, I bonked. I was done. There was nothing. I cramped. I bonked. Both legs locked up within the first. Ooh. And my boss actually drove to like the courthouse parking lot at Pocahontas and brought me a Powerade, a pickle, and some amp lotion. I was dying. And then, because even if you bonk and you cramp and you get back on the bike and you recover from that, all your power is gone.
You're still not the same.
So then I finished the race on that, and that was just like, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm never going to a race without training again. So
now you know.
It's stuck between that and the SM100. So SM100 is 100 miles of mountain biking in Stokesville. Okay. Which is like the Shenandoah Mountains kind of. Okay. So it ends up being like, I think 11,000 feet of elevation. There's like 5 really big climbs in there, and that was my longest like mountain bike event yet. Yeah. Before that, my longest was like a metric.
Yeah, it's a big jump. Big jump.
By the end of the day, it was. I did it slow compared to a lot of people, but it took me about 11 hours, and it was just 11 hours of torture. Your hands go numb from the descents, and your knuckles ache the next like all day. There's no amount of chamois cream. I don't know how to say this on a podcast. There is no amount of chamois cream that could have helped me that day. Oh my gosh. Couldn't sit down. And then like just, I don't know if you've ever been like on a really long climb, but like it's one of those, and I had on my Garmin like a Climb Pro thing where it was like you have like 2 miles to go on this climb or whatever, or like you have 5 miles to go on this climb. Yeah. And then it shows you the grades of it. So like I'm riding and I'm just like, when does it end? My heart rate's at like 180 right now. What do I do? I don't have any more gears. Why did I do this? Like at just about every race. Yeah. Normally for me, there's like just a moment where I'm just like, why do I do this to myself? And that race, I had that like 10 times. Really? Yeah. It was a tough day, but it was cool.
But it's as you know, like it's an amazing thing.
Oh yeah.
To do that thing, like to know you had this moment of like, why am I out here? Why am I doing this? And you still did it.
Oh yeah. Right? It's an amazing, like, to any mountain biker, I would make that like a bucket list thing. Yeah. Okay. Like for me, it was kind of surreal. For other people, it may be like nothing, but like I get out there and I was like 50, 60 miles in, and I'm nearing the top of this mountain, and I look to my left, and it's just like trees and sunlight. And I was just like, I'm on a mountain right now.
Yeah.
Like just that weird moment of just like, this is awesome. I'm riding through the mountains. It's just beautiful views. I'm wet and dirty.
Yeah.
But I'm alive and this is cool. Like, and then after that I was just like, all right, let's finish this ride. This is cool.
Yeah. Yeah. There are those small moments in a ride where it's like, you know what?
This is what I do.
Yeah, it sucked, but like this is pretty good to get to this point. And I got here by bike. You know, I got here on my own power.
Exactly.
Okay. So do you ride do you do Blue Ridge Parkway often, kind of thing? Ride in those areas?
I haven't actually ridden my road bike out there.
Really?
Nope. I'd like to. It's just normally if I go out there, it's like a group of people inviting me, and normally it's like mountain bikers. Yeah. So I'd like to go out there sometime this year and get some road riding out there in the mountains. There we go.
Let's see. I will put that down. Blue Ridge trip. We will figure that out. Hopefully when I've gotten in better shape. But yeah, it'd be nice to actually get some of the Wolf Pack to go out there and do. The Blue Ridge. Yeah, because it's like, you know, you crest the mountain, you know, you go to the overlooks, you know, kind of thing. And you get the view. That's what I like. That's very cool. So it's tough events. Were you like before the riding, like were you doing any like activity, playing sports or anything like that before you started riding?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, before that, I always had some kind of bike that I would like ride around the neighborhood and that kind of thing. Yeah. But I was never in like one specific sport or anything like that.
Okay. You did some. You weren't a couch potato.
No, I was just
you weren't an athlete.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's always interesting to hear like where were people at before they got super committed? Like were they coming off the couch, or were they were a runner, or like were doing something else active all the time, kind of thing. Why do you keep riding? Why do you keep doing the mountain bike races? Why do you you know?
For me, it's a mental emotional thing. It keeps me in a good place, mentally and emotionally. Okay. Yeah, it's my therapy. Let's put it like that.
Okay. All right. Oh, that's good. Yeah. I've yet to hear anyone say like, "Yeah, I'm super mad about riding. I keep going," kind of thing. So that is good. That is you're. I won't say find relaxation, but you find it therapeutic. Yes. Right. Keep going. You've done some road races, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What road races have you done?
My first one was Liberty Classic. Okay. That was interesting. It gave me a good idea of what road racing is like and things to look out. I actually wrecked within like the first 10 miles. Okay. Somebody locked up their brakes in front of me and I went over the bars, so that was fun. Okay. But it kind of blew me away, and just like watching people at the end. Yeah. It was so exciting to me that I had to give it another shot later on.
The crash, you were wiped out. That was the end of your race, or were you able to get back?
It bent my derailleur hanger. Okay. So I did keep riding for the rest of that lap and another lap. Yeah. And after that, I was just like, I'm not doing this anymore. Okay. Because I was just like, my gears are going back and forth. I could have tried to bend it while I was out there, but I was just like, I don't feel like it right now.
Wouldn't be able to be competitive out there.
Yeah. Okay. The group was long gone. It was just me and one other guy. Yeah.
Well, you had company. Racing. How to start racing. When you start doing like training, like structured training.
So truly structured training, I actually just started in like December. Okay. Okay. Before that, I mean, I would do like workouts on Zwift and that kind of thing, but This one, like with a trainer, I'm focusing a lot more specific things to get me ready for a lot of the mountain bike races I have coming up.
Okay.
As well as some of the road races. Like I've been gearing up for the one this weekend.
Okay.
And then I'll be getting ready for the Bryant Park series.
What's this weekend?
What is it called? Langley Stadium. It's a crit.
Oh, okay. How long is the race?
Mine is just 30 minutes. They'll range between about 30 minutes and an hour usually.
Okay. 30 minutes. Yeah, an hour is definitely a bigger distance. Okay. You know how big the field's going to be, roughly?
Right now, it's probably... I haven't checked recently, but it's probably close to 50 at least.
Okay. Are you in is it an open race or you like riding in your like an age group?
This one should be open.
Okay. Do you think about that? Because I won't call you young, but you're not super old, right?
I'm young. I'll take it.
And hopefully you remain young at heart.
Yes, always.
But do you think about that, if you show up to a race, you might be riding with someone who is 40, 50, maybe 60 years old. Like, do you think about that at all? Like
all the time.
Yeah. Okay.
So actually some of my teammates a lot of them actually are 40s, 50s. And they can still mostly kick my butt.
Yeah.
Just because they've been training and they know the game, and it's cool. Like because of that, I can get out there and I can see a gray haired dude and be like, "Don't sleep on him."
Okay.
That gray hair is just a front. He's got watts.
Okay. Yeah. It is interesting to going out and riding. I'd never done anything before with such like a mixed age group of people.
Okay.
And that was something else I had to get used to. Like, yeah, like the 6-year-old dude's going to crush me on the ride because he's been doing this for like 3 decades or something like that.
Yep.
So yeah, I wondered if you thought about it. Apparently you have.
I was humbled before. I learned my lesson.
You go on a mountain bike ride.
Mm-hmm.
And say it's a 25-mile mountain bike ride. Like, what do you take with you on that ride? Like, what comes along with you?
25.
Bike and your helmet.
So I'm not the best example because I don't always like bring a flat change stuff with me.
Let's go with either way. What's the stuff that you're like? I need to make sure I have X, Y, and Z outside of your bike computer, your shoes, your helmet.
If I'm going on usually I think about that like when I go to the mountains or something because I know I'm going to be a ways from the car. Mm-hmm. So for me, I normally have a tube. I'll have a patch kit. I usually bring a gel because either way, even if I don't use it, I can always use the packet as like a tire patch.
Oh, okay.
Just as a, till you get back to the car kind of thing. What else do I keep? Quick link for the chain. I always have a multi-tool that has tire lever, chain breaker on it. Outside of that, making sure you have plenty of food and water. Mm-hmm. So, especially somewhere where you can't get it, you want to make sure that you plan to have enough. Usually you want like a bottle per hour.
Okay.
And if it's hot outside, possibly even more. And then food, you want to be able to consume enough calories per hour too, whether that be liquid or gel or, a waffler, what have you. Mm-hmm. But getting out in the mountains like that, you definitely prepare with, extra parts. CO2 cartridges, I forgot that.
When you mountain bike ride, do you use bottle cage or do you use a Camelback or hydration pack?
Depends on how long the ride is. Okay. So like if I'm going out in the mountains and I'm doing like 30 miles, because there's so much climbing, I know that could be a 3-hour ride, easy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I will probably bring a Camelback for that, or I have a bottle in the cage and like 2 in my pockets.
Really? Okay.
But if I wear like a Camelback, I can make sure I have all my repair stuff and that kind of thing. So. just situational.
What are your snacks of choice on the ride?
I usually I like the Honey Stingers waffle, the vanilla and chocolate one, because it reminds me of Oreos a little bit.
Okay.
And then I like the gels too.
Did you ever go get anything? Did you ever shop at Performance Bicycle when they were still open?
I did not.
Okay.
I always so like I'm very sheltered when it comes to bike stuff because being in a bike shop is like
you just get it from your bike shop.
Exactly.
Okay.
So like I always just got whatever we had on the shelf.
Okay. I mean, they were a chain bike shop.
Yeah.
Bike retailers calling that kind of thing, and with a bike shop in there. But they would have all the nutrition stuff, and they would have the Honey Stinger waffles in there. But then because they'd have like the 20% off every so often, you could go and get those Honey Stingers for for less for markdown prices. And then twice a year they'd have a sale where the Honey Stinger, the whole box would be $9.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I'd end up with 3 boxes of Honey Stinger.
I like it.
Strawberry flavor or vanilla. The vanilla is
I haven't tried strawberry yet.
Strawberry's pretty good. I mean, the vanillas are good. I've tried cinnamon. I've tried plain honey, which is like, yeah. Because it's plain honey.
Yeah.
But the strawberry ones, I think I found the most enjoyable. So
the caramel one, caramel or salted caramel, both are pretty good.
Obviously, I can't even think of salted caramel as a standalone flavor. For me to be like, oh, I like that flavor, I should then get a thing that is salted caramel like as a flavor. I will keep that in mind.
100% understand that.
I will keep that in mind. I had that discussion with somebody else. Like, yeah, I don't want to get a thing flavored like a thing that I've not had the flavor in its normal state.
So they had apple cinnamon. It is disgusting.
Really?
Don't you ever don't buy the apple cinnamon. It is a mistake.
What?
It is a waste of money.
What?
Oh my goodness. It was I don't even know if I finished it. I was on a ride and I was like, what is this?
What? Apple cinnamon's not good?
It's not good. It's not good.
I immediately think of fried apples. And I love those.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But not the case.
No, not at all. It is
not every flavor carries well to every substance.
I was surprised they even put it into production. Who is eating this?
There's somebody somewhere. If they're still selling it,
somebody with Corona.
Somebody's having a hard time, and they're having apple cinnamon. So there's your snacks. Do you use Strava?
Mm-hmm.
When did you start using Strava?
Pretty much right off the bat. My friend who I was riding with before I even started working at Molly's was just like, you should get on Strava.
Yeah.
I was like, what's that?
Yeah.
Now I know.
Now every ride's on Strava?
If it's not on Strava, it didn't happen.
That is true. Yeah. That is very true. Yeah. Why'd I even go ride? It didn't even get recorded.
Exactly.
Yeah, I gotta go out again.
You didn't get your PR in that segment? What a loser.
So that's Strava. Do you go back and look at your stats and things like that? Because the segments, you look at that apparently.
It depends on the ride.
Okay.
Yeah, if it's something I look at it more at Pocahontas.
Okay.
Like when I'm mountain biking, or if I'm doing a route I do a lot by myself.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes road riding, it's so inconsistent.
Okay.
Because unless you have a power meter.
Okay.
Per se.
Yeah.
Because you could have headwind one day.
True.
You could just be not feeling it one day. You could be in a pace line.
Mm-hmm.
And that can all affect your PRs.
That is true. Do you have a power meter? Do you use one?
I do now, yes.
Okay. On the mountain bike and road bike, or just one?
I haven't even used the mountain bike one yet. I just put it on.
What'd you get?
I have the Garmin Rally Pedals.
Ooh, okay. For the mountain bike. What's on the road bike?
Pioneer, Dura Ace cranks with a Pioneer power meter on it.
I'd heard of Pioneer, but I've not looked into Pioneer. Okay, nice. What kind of pedals? Are you SPD?
I do SPD. Yeah.
On both?
SPD SL for the road and
okay,
SPD for the mountain.
Have you tried any other pedal systems?
I have
tried like
not.
Speedplay? And
I'm not.
What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on Speedplay?
Okay. I may get some hate from this one, but like, I feel like there's a reason they went out of business and had to get bought by Wahoo. You know, like, I don't know. I would rather. I can see the appeal in the look pedals and you know Kia, Delta, whatever you prefer. I don't know. I'm not that picky with my pedals, so like I've always just gone with what I could get.
Okay.
And I really appreciate Shimano's products.
Okay.
So I figured I'd stick with them.
Okay. I have been looking at them a little bit more as well. Because Wahoo bought them. They just came out with the
power meter one.
Right, the power meter one. And I had I had to do some thinking. I was like, okay, does that, like, clearly it's not a pedal system I've used, but there's a power meter on it. Does that appeal to me for some reason? Like, is there some incentive for me to switch? And then I had to start reading about the Speedplay pedals and like what are the advantages. And I know the system is more complicated. It's not just like put the thing on, bolt it on. It's like a layered system on the cleat.
Interesting. What kind of setup do you have now?
I have on the road bike I have the Asiamo Duo pedals, which are power meter pedals.
Okay.
And they use a Lookio.
Okay.
Cleat. And then on the gravel bike, I just have regular. I have ISSI pedals. Which somebody else told me about these colorful pedals they had, and I was like, what? The bike's already colorful. Why not? So I've got these nice yellow pedals on the SPD pedals on there. The trail version, so they've got a little foot area on
a little bit of a cage around them.
Yes. Yeah. And so far they're doing the job. Like, they're visible. And it's still taking to get used to, though, because I'm used to the look. It's
a little bit different motion, yeah.
Those are what I'm using now. When I first started, I had mountain bike shoes with SPDs.
Yep.
And I had a set of reversible pedals. And I like one side.
Yeah, single side clipless. Yeah.
And those are great because I commute on that bike. Then moved to a Shimano Ultegra some number pedal or something like that, which I've got in the box somewhere. Then moved to, I'll tell you the whole pedal system, and then moved to, and then I was like, you know what? I'd like to get some power meters. I can't remember whether I got the trainer first, but either way, I got some power meters, and I got the Garmin Vector 2s.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they had the little pod that came off of them, and those did the job. Never had an issue with them. And then I could easily move into the next to my bike riding indoors. And then I started having an issue where they wouldn't do cadence and they wouldn't measure power and stuff like that. So then I got the Garmin Vector 3s, and those initial releases of the Vector 3s had an issue where the battery goes kind of inside the spindle, inside the spindle, but it's two batteries would go in, but these two coin cell batteries. But then there was an issue where, just in this design, the batteries would rub against each other because they're cylinders, right?
Yeah.
And it would cause a little layer of soot, and then they would lose connection because the soot would form inside the battery cage. And so it was just a known issue.
Yeah.
That the batteries would this would happen eventually, and they would lose connection. And it got so bad that I did all the remedies, and I called Garmin. I was like, hey, these pedals are not recording power. They're not doing this. And they sent me a whole brand new set of pedals.
Yep.
I actually still have the originals in a box. somewhere, and I have to figure out what do I want to do. I sold the ones I had. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. The ones they sent me, I just sold them immediately. I didn't even open the box. Called them. I was like, hey, who wants to buy these pedals? Because I'm clearly getting some other set. So I sold those, and then I still have the originals that I rode on in a box. And I'm like, should I try to sell those as well? Because they're still big top of the line power meter. But they had that issue with like losing. So what would happen is it was like whichever one needed to be connected would lose connection. So it was like the right one or something. It was like the one that was slave to the other one. Like the one that was like the primary one would lose connection. Yeah. And then like, you have no power kind of thing. So the Osama Duos have been great. They're fantastic. They have one flaw, and that's because of the weighting in them. They lean back. Unclip. They go into a weird position when you unclip. So it takes me just like a moment or two longer to like look down, see where they're at, and clip in.
I got you.
That's the only gripe with them. Other than that, super reliable, rechargeable.
That's nice.
Great pedals, and I recommend them. And they're a little cheaper. They're like $750.
I like cheaper.
Yeah, cheaper's great because power meter pedals are not cheap. When you start looking at them, that's a different level of commitment when you start getting into those. As I've talked about power meter pedals, someone's riding. Do you recommend the gadgets? Like, because those are clearly gadgets. Like, there's not required. Like, do you recommend these things for people, or you just like, what are your thoughts on people getting the high end equipment?
So, being a bike shop employee, I've learned a lot. Like you can get the customer that comes in and they buy all these things, but they're not necessarily using them to their full capacity. So, if I get somebody that comes in and they buy an entry level road bike, my first thing is into like, hey, you need a power meter, especially with like the Capture. We have so many people that just go out and their goal is just to go out and get some exercise, Yeah. So if you want to ride efficiently, my first thing would be to get a cadence sensor and a bike computer. Okay. Cadence, because you can actually focus on kind of spinning, because a lot of people, they get into that mashing. If you've ever been on the Capture and you're riding behind somebody, you just see them spinning at the slowest rate, and I'm just like, you could be going so much faster without so much work. Yeah. And that cadence is a big thing in general when it comes to training. And the next thing would probably be a heart rate monitor after that. Okay. And with those two things, you can get pretty far. Okay. But power is more for somebody who's ready to start training, Okay. If you want to start getting faster, figuring out what your FTP is, and then figuring out ways to build your FTP, that's when I would recommend getting a power meter. Okay. And then after that, you can use that to gauge yourself. So like, in races or events or what have you, you can look down and be like, hey, I'm in zone 5 right now. That's not good. Yeah. I'm not going to be able to sustain this for another 2 hours. Yeah. I need to figure out what I need to do now. Yeah.
Okay. That is sound advice. Regarding like the gadgets. As I say gadgets, which is what my mom would say. Sure, you're getting another gadget. And I'm like, yeah, they are gadgets, but they're useful. Cadence sensor, bike computer, heart rate monitor. And then if somebody's thinking of getting into more structured or understanding the level of effort they're putting out when we, moving into the power meter. Yeah. And now I'm like, what other gadgets are there to put on a bike?
Smart trainers. You can get your Garmin radar, your GoPro. You can't forget the GoPro, man.
The GoPro, you've gone to a different level, right?
I don't have a GoPro.
Yeah. I don't have a GoPro. It's nice though, because then you get some memorable moments on the GoPro. Oh, yeah. If you get one, right? Because there's a couple mounts. There's on the bike handlebars mount. There's the helmet mount, and then there's a chest mount. I think the helmet mount gives you the best view because it's unobstructed, kind of thing. but it's on your helmet, so you don't look cool anymore, right? It's just this little box on your helmet, this thing right here, sitting in your helmet.
The racer in me just says that's not aero.
It is not. It is not. For some reason, I don't know. I don't know if you know this. GoPro has their regular GoPro cameras, and they have a GoPro Max, which is a 360-degree camera.
Yeah.
But it looks like, it's like the shape of the base of this mic thing, but like half the size, right? But so not this thing, right? So like maybe two of those on top of each other, kind of thing.
Okay.
Right? The GoPro, clearly not aerodynamic, and it makes me wonder why they went with this weird kind of shape, because it's still an action camera, but like what action am I going to shoot on this this weirdly shaped thing?
Yep.
Which would also look weird on somebody's helmet. I'm fond of the chest mount, and that's what I was going to say. Like the chest mount is a good compromise of like, I still look somewhat cool.
Yep.
And then I get a good view, because you can get a good view of when you're doing stuff, when you're working hard. But when it's like on the bike, you start moving faster, like it's the same as when you're climbing or something like that. Like,
yeah.
But the chest mount, you can see like you got out the saddle and you're doing stuff, kind of thing. So
that's true. If I got one, it would either be a chest mount or a handlebar mount, to be honest. So
yeah. You just have to get chest mount. You have to get the chest strap. You make sure it's the right fit. The handlebar one, then you have to get the bike computer mount that allows you to do both.
Mm-hmm. And if you have limited space, that's not always bueno.
My Canyon has a weird setup where it's aerodynamic handlebars. It's all the bar and I'm going to say this wrong. The stem part that connects handlebar, right?
Yep. All
one piece. So it's oblong shape.
Yeah.
The bar. So I can't use the
regular
mount. You have to have
like special mounts for it. Yep.
Yeah, so like I had to buy a mount from like Japan or something like that, like to go on it, to have the bike computer and the GoPro mount. Either way, gadgets. I will tell my mom that I use gadgets several times in this episode now. Wahoo or Garmin?
I can't say one over the other. I personally own a Garmin.
Okay.
I really like the Edge 830.
Okay.
But that said, I can't say one thing, without having used the Wahoo or other. I recognize that it has really good data.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard some really great reviews from them.
Yeah.
So hopefully in the future I'll take, the opportunity to give it a shot.
Yeah.
But to me, if you got a bike computer and it does what the things you wanted it to do, then at the end of the day, that's all that matters. They're both really good companies, really nice staff. They'll pretty much always take care of you no matter what.
Yeah. I've known of numerous people who've had an issue with a Garmin bike computer, and Garmin worked something out with them to help them out. I personally have had to contact Wahoo's customer service over trainer issues. Use their trainer products, and have gotten some good help. And actually, I had a friend yesterday I was talking to about her trainer. She needs to send back, and then they're gonna send her a new one.
Yep.
So
they're
yeah,
really
right.
Cool
They've got some responsive customer service teams on both sides. But I thought I'd ask, if you had some kind of preference. I'm still mystified by people who are still getting the Karoo bike computer.
Heard about it. They seem interesting. I haven't taken the time to do the research into them, but I have seen them.
The first iteration, because like a Karoo 2 that's out, the first iteration did not go well. I think my understanding, it was built on like an Android platform or something like that. So it was supposed to be more capable of a device. But like the first iteration that people bought, I've heard no one was happy with this Karoo that they first bought. The set Karoo 2, I think is what it's called. I think it's a bit better of a response, but still, like, you haven't heard of it. It's a person working at a bike shop.
I would give them some more time to build up before, before I went that route personally.
Yeah. I'm not a cutting edge person. I need to like reliable equipment, kind of thing. So your bike computers, your gadgets. If you are you on your first? Is this your first bike computer? It can't be your first one. That's like your second. You had the 830.
This is my. This is my. Let's see.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest now.
I don't need to expose myself like this. Okay, so I got an 820.
Yep.
And then I had a wreck in the mountains.
Okay.
That was probably in like 2019.
Okay.
That shattered it.
Okay.
Somehow still saved my ride after that. Okay. You have no idea how many buttons I pressed. Like, it was very interesting.
It's a good endorsement.
And then I ordered an 830 after that. Mm-hmm. And they had heard I broke it, and they gave me a little bit of a discount on it.
Okay.
And it was actually my first ride with the Wolfpack. I set my Garmin on top of my car, and I forgot it was there.
Okay.
Never saw that Garmin again. So that 830 was out of there.
Okay.
And then, if you recall, we rode the Tour de Midnight.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And we met you in the pace line.
Yeah, yeah.
And after that ride,
mm-hmm.
I also lost my Garmin.
Oh, come on.
I did not see it for like months. I probably didn't see it until like, no, I never saw it, but like I was riding without a computer till like December.
Wait, okay. All right. Okay. Just to calibrate this experience. Okay. Like, not like it went on my car and
I'm pretty sure I set it on top of my car because I searched my cars high and low, and somehow I did upload my ride at some point. Like, I don't.
It's like it's my last and final act.
Where is this thing? Ride. So that was depressing. So I'm on my third Edge 830 right now. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. All right.
Great product.
Mm-hmm.
I just want you guys to know I don't know anything about the longevity of them because they haven't lasted more than a year for me.
The 830 is great. I had the 820 as well. Mm-hmm. I started with the 820. I started with the 820 because I think it was newer at the time, and then I did one ride. I did Between the Waters ride, which is in it's a pretty flat ride in Cape Charles, Virginia.
Okay.
And it was my first Century in That's 2017, awesome. And at the end of the ride, like I think it was like 9 miles to go, the Garmin switched it to low battery mode. Mm-hmm. I thought it was just cutting off. Like it was just like, nope, I'm not going to record anymore. And so, but when it's a low battery mode, and when that mode, it only shows you the turns. It's like saving battery, so it won't show your data. It's like as soon as the turn comes up, it'll cut on, show you the turn, and then cuts back off. Mm-hmm. So I thought I'd lost my ride by the time I got to the end of it, but it got saved. But I was like, yep, not having that again. Yep. So then I got a 1030, which is larger screen.
Yep. The touch screen.
It's just the huge, longer battery life.
Yeah.
In fact,
what is it, like a 24-hour battery life or something like that?
You can record for 24 hours. Yes, provided depending on how many sensors you have connected, but you could record for 22 hours, I think, or something like that, which is crazy. Longer than I'm going to ride.
Hey,
probably.
Don't say that.
To contiguously ride, I think 22 would be pushing it for me. Like 22 is not. Right now, I'm not at 22. Like I'm not at 22.
I mean, you can take a break in between, like.
But at that point, I'm gonna have a battery pack. I'm not gonna allow it to run on its own.
That's fair.
Yeah, if I'm gonna go that far, which I have considered at some point, if I'm gonna go that far,
all right, put that on the list for this year. 24-hour challenge.
I have the gravel bike. I'd be inclined to do a ride. It's got to be a destination. You think so?
Oh yeah.
You can just do loops.
I'm not doing a loop. No, that's stupid. So there's this thing called the Great American Ride.
Okay.
And we did it for our first time in 2020.
Okay.
Because there was this COVID thing, so they're like, let's do this virtual event.
Yeah.
So basically, you can log miles however you like. It can be on the trainer. It can be outside. and it can be mountain bike miles,
This
it can be
is in
road
June?
miles. The first time was in June, yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And my teammate, he decided for the first day of it, he was gonna ride to Pennsylvania. So this guy rode 28 hours from here to Pennsylvania. It was like 320 miles the first trip, and then he rode back like that Wednesday or something like that.
Wow. Okay.
And it was just like this. It's a crazy feat for sure.
So wait. I mean, he's just like the one day he just went and just didn't stop. He's like
he didn't stop overnight. He I think he stopped once or twice for like an actual meal.
Yeah. Okay.
But like outside of that, it was just
riding.
Riding in pee breaks. Like all the way.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. And then that was soon after. That was actually right before I did my first century.
Okay.
So he comes back. He takes like Thursday off, takes Friday off, and I decided I'm gonna do a century by myself on Saturday to help the team, because we're gonna do great on this Great American Ride or whatever. And so I'm like, I'm gonna do 100 miles. I slept in that day, so I didn't start my century until like almost 3:00.
Wait, 3:00 when? In the afternoon?
In the afternoon.
Okay. All right.
Don't judge me.
A little judgment.
Anyways, okay. I decided I'm gonna start from the shop.
Okay.
Ride all the way down Route 10 to Jeff Davis. Jeff Davis all the way up into Richmond. Hop on the Cap Trail, and then just gone.
Yeah.
So he decides he gives me a call and he's like, "You're gonna go ride?
Yeah.
I'm gonna come with you." I'm like, "You just
you just did all this, right?
You just did like 600-700 miles. Like, dude, can you stop?"
Yeah.
And I get out there and I'm averaging like 17 miles an hour or something like that. And he gets mad at me because I'm going too slow.
Oh man.
And I was
yourself.
I was mad about this ride. Like I'm like, this is my first century. I'm trying not to bonk. I'm trying not to burn it all out. And he's like, you worry about that when it happens. And I was like, what? Just hold my wheel. What? So we get to that gas station right after the courthouse in Charles City. And I run inside, get some water, and grab a pickle real quick. And and we're outside the gas station just filling up. And he was just like, "You can't be going this slow." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" It's like, you can't be going this slow. I know you can do better than this. And I was just like, this is my first time doing this, man. Yeah. Give me a break. And he's like, no.
Yeah.
You gotta stop being a wuss.
Yeah.
He didn't use the word wuss, but we're not gonna say the word. He's like, you gotta stop.
Yeah.
And I was mad. And then he starts getting on his phone and texting or whatever. And I was like, all right, let's go. He was like, I'll be there in a minute. What? So I hopped on my bike, and I was mad at this point.
Yeah. I
rode all the way to Jamestown before he caught me.
Really?
And he catches up, and he was like, "That's what I like to see." And I was like, "Shut up. I hate you right now." And then we ended up not getting back until midnight.
Yeah.
It was miserable, but amazing.
You had a bike light.
I did. He didn't. So the lights start going out, and his Garmin was dying too. So he had it on battery saver mode. Yeah. And he would just like tap it every once in a while, right? And so, like, by the time we're at the courthouse, at least it's already dark.
Coles Courthouse.
Yeah.
And you still got to ride back to Peters, right?
And we're still riding back. And we decided, we actually had our brewer. He lives really close to the 4 Mile Creek lot. So we're like, can you pick us up?
Yeah.
But we ended up riding, and I was the only one that had a light. So every time we got to a bridge crossing, you just heard people yelling out, "Pole." Yeah. Like if anybody was near the Cap Trail, they would have just been like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
because we were trying not to hit the poles on the bridges. Yeah. And it was crazy. Coolest first century ever.
Yeah, for sure. Like that's not what I would recommend, even for someone who's experienced, to then do it late in the day where you're going to need to have a light.
I'm not an early morning person. You can ask all of them. It's bad. It's bad.
What's the earliest ride you had to do?
SM100. Because it's such a long ride. Oh. It starts at first light.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's like 6:30 ish.
Okay.
And I stayed at a hotel nearby, so I ended up getting up at like 3:30.
Okay.
And then
just got it done.
Yeah, okay. I was late. I slept like a log that night.
You earned it. You earned it then, man. You did your first century. How'd you feel after? You're just like, I'm done.
I was pumped. Yeah, I couldn't shut up once we got in the car, and then I'm in my car. I'm like, I did it. My legs hurt, but I did it.
Yeah.
And the next day, I just remember standing up out of bed, and I was like, I rode 100 miles yesterday. It feels like I rode 100 miles. Oh gosh.
Yeah. When did I start? When did you? It makes me think about recovery rides, which are rarely actually recovery rides. But that's when I, do a 10, 15 mile spin, kind of thing. It work that out a bit.
I'm figuring that out these days.
I've heard about the Wolfpack doing recovery rides.
They were always better at doing that than me.
But then they end up not being recovery rides.
No,
like somebody pushes the pace.
Normally, what happens is all of a sudden your legs wake up and you're like, "Oh, I'm fine." And then somebody gets froggy.
Yeah.
And then because one person gets froggy, another person gets froggy, and it's
So I brought up the Wolfpack. How did you get tagged with the Wolfpack?
So it all started out with a guy named Dave Beach. And Dave Beach used to come in with this like Klein mountain bike, 26-inch. And he was always riding on the road. And he comes out and he's like, "Man, I'm flying down these roads, man." I was like, "Alrighty." "You need some air in your tires?" "Yeah, keep pumping me up." "All right, cool." All right. And then he's like, "Man, I'm trying to get a road bike." And it was like it was 2020, I think.
Yeah.
And we could not get anything in. COVID was just like, you're not getting a road bike if you want. So I was just like, here's my number. Look around on Facebook Marketplace. If you see something, send me a message, show it to me, and I'll let you know if it looks like a good deal.
Yeah.
And he gets this carbon Fuji, already got Ultegra on it, carbon wheels. I'm like, okay, it's a nice bike. Got a pretty good deal on it. And then he's been riding for about maybe a month, and he starts coming to the shop, and he's like, "When you gonna ride with me?" I was just like, I'm a busy guy. I only ride at nights.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to go slow. And at the time, I will not be afraid to say this. I was a bit of a jerk. I was a bit of an elitist just for a little bit. I was like, I'm not trying to ride unless we're going 20 miles an hour.
Yeah.
But he was like, "When are you gonna ride with me?" And I was just like, "You get a little faster, I'll ride with you." And somewhere along the line, he met the Wolfpack and started riding with them. And so he keeps coming in and he's like, you got to come ride with this group with us. And I'm like, what is this group? What is this group you're riding with? It's like, the Wolfpack, man. I'm like, I have never heard of the Wolfpack. Who is this Wolfpack?
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, you got to come ride with us. These guys are fast. The dudes that be training me, they will kick your butt. They will drop you." And he said drop, and I was like,
yeah.
"Oh, really?"
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're doing a metric out in Hanover this Saturday. What time? 9 o'clock. I don't like getting up early.
Time. Yeah.
I was like, okay, all right, I'll show up. And it happened to be a ride. It was like a very early in the season ride, so they ended up inviting like a whole bunch of people outside of the Wolfpack.
Mm-hmm.
So the ride didn't even start till 10, and I was just like,
yeah,
what kind of ride is this about to be?
Yeah.
Right? And that was actually the first time I met Andre. And
Mm-hmm.
Andre shows up in this like one-piece suit, bodysuit, and I was like, this dude built like a quarterback shows up in like a one-piece suit, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about this. I may get dropped today. And Andre was actually being a team player that day, so he ended up like sitting in the back the whole time, and just helping people out, pushing up hills and all that jazz. So we finished the ride. I was like, okay, there's a couple fast people in here. This is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like the environment. Like,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of cycling groups out there can be elitist, or you're not one of them. So all of a sudden you're just kind of there. You're in the background, right?
Yeah.
And I was semi there until after riding with the Wolfpack, to be honest, because you start to realize you don't always have to be fast. Just enjoy riding with people, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You don't always have to be going 100%, and either way, they're going there 100%, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it gave me a different viewpoint on it. And ever since that ride, it was just like, hey, let me know when the next Wolfpack ride is.
Okay.
And then eventually I started doing some of the weekend rides when I could. When they did West Creek,
Mm-hmm.
I'd hop in on some of those.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a good way of training, and especially even if people aren't really good at like pace lines and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because it's laps, you can, if you get dropped, you can just hop in when they come back around. So
West Creek is a real controlled environment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I actually don't ride out that often, but that's a controlled environment. And the last time I rode in West Creek was with the Wolfpack, and I recall at the end of it, I don't know if you remember this, like you and Andre did a sprint.
Yes, he probably beat me really bad.
I don't know who beat who there, but it was not me. Like, that's the thing I remember. Two people were out in front of me. At the time, I want to say like that was my second time riding out there. It was my second time riding with the and West Creek with the Wolfpack.
Okay.
And was not in the did not go as fast as I was hoping I was going to go. You know, still a great ride, but I did just like you did. I got dropped, and sure enough, waited for the little pullovers and joined the group for the rest of the way.
That's the way to do it.
You know, but you know, no shame in the game. So.
That's the time to experiment, because, like you said, it's controlled. So like you can, if you want to practice a breakaway, you can. You know, see how long you can stay ahead of the group, or all sorts of things. I came out there one day, and it was probably a day I went bad, or soon after Bryant Park, and I was just like, I miss racing.
Mm-hmm.
So Andre calls me. He's like, "You on the way?" I was like, "Yeah." Tell the pack.
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming out there with a race mentality. And it was one of the fastest West Creek rides there were that time.
I will say there's, I've ridden quite a few groups that are more steady pace, which was absolutely what I want sometimes. But I am quite aware if I ride with a Wolfpack, if somebody jumps out front, like somebody else is going to jump out front to go chase down that sprint, which is nice. It's the thing I'm like, you know what? I know I could do that if I go join that ride. I could do some sprints and jump off the front, and people will join in.
The cool thing about them is there's certain riders that they're not gonna ride outside their ability.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you know, if they know they can't hang with a breakaway for a little bit, they're not gonna chase it anyways and then burn out and get dropped. They're gonna keep it steady. Yeah. And because it's all about working together in the end.
Everybody will regroup.
They're really awesome at working together.
Good. When you go on vacation, because I assume you go on vacations or go traveling, that kind of thing, right?
Occasionally.
Do you take your bike with you?
It depends. So, ever since COVID hit, there's been like 2 vacations, right?
Right. Yeah. Okay.
It's been so crazy, and we're understaffed, so I get out sometimes.
Okay.
So my first vacation, let's see. Technically, I think it was my first vacation since COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot, was it? Yeah, 2020.
Okay.
2020 or 20. Yeah, it was 2020. We went to the beach.
Okay.
And I brought my road bike because there's no mountain biking out there. And I decided while I'm out there, I was going to do 150 miles.
Wow. Okay.
So I set that as my goal for that trip.
Okay. Wait. In one go, 150 miles?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So I left at like 10 o'clock.
In the morning.
Got back. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I don't like the mornings. Okay.
Apparently,
I was moving slow that morning. So I left at like 10 o'clock. Didn't get back till probably like 6 or 7 o'clock. It had just gotten like too dark to ride, and I was like, I was at the end of my rope. I ate so much food that night. Oh my gosh! Like,
I mean, if you did the distance, like clearly I won't say you earned it, but like you clearly had a calorie deficit.
I did. I think it was like 5,000 and some based off of Strava.
Yeah.
But yeah. Normally, if I can bring my bike, I will. So
okay.
Then again, 2 of my vacations since COVID have been solely for biking. We went to snowshoe and did downhilling.
Okay.
So you already got to bring the bike for that.
Yeah, it's already going along. How did clearly you're riding before 2020? 2020 happened. Like, how did the pandemic impact like your riding, your perception of riding, that kind of thing? Because I assume it had some kind of impact.
So it had.
Like what changed about your routine? What with the riding, like.
So I wasn't as consistent for a while.
Okay.
Just because it was like you would finish up a shift at the shop and it's like you're done. We had a certain point where it was just like 4 of us maybe, and we're trying to do so much and adhere by guidelines and all sorts of things, and we were 3-4 weeks out on repairs. You're tripping over bikes. There's so many bikes in the shop. And it was hectic. So like the end of the day, after running around, sometimes literally the shop.
Yeah.
It was just like I was burnt, and I couldn't make myself ride my bike.
Yeah.
So my riding definitely decreased for a little bit. And then after that, one of the guys I was riding with, the same guy I did the Century with, he kind of helped me stay a little bit more regular. So Tuesdays and Thursdays we would go out, ride to Richmond from the shop, and ride back.
Okay.
And that was normally between 30 and 40 miles.
Okay.
And I normally got dropped at some point on that ride just because our levels were so different. But it was a good way of keeping me kind of fit. And then I got onto the trainer a lot. There were times he would make me do meetups with him.
Yeah.
Those I also got dropped. He used to text me when he would get to the top of a climb and be like, "I'm waiting."
Man.
Yeah. That's an L you have to hold.
Oh man. I have to remember that technique.
Oh, it was bad. And the worst part is on Zwift, you see like how many seconds somebody is, apart.
Yeah.
And it would get to like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and I'm just like, I'm like blacking out on the trainer over here.
Oh man.
But so yeah, start of it, I slowed down a lot, and then from there on, it just kind of it gave me more time because obviously you're not going out and doing as much stuff. Okay. At least for 2020 at least. Yeah. So I ended up just focusing a lot more on cycling.
Okay. Right, because there was not a whole lot more to do.
Exactly.
So you mentioned Zwift. When did you start using Zwift?
That would be on a regular basis. It would probably be actually 2020.
Okay.
like right in January. I had just broken my wrist, and it wasn't 100% healed yet. And I wanted to start getting back in shape. I couldn't stand like being off the bike that long.
Okay.
So I started building my endurance back up on Zwift from there on, and then because of that, that's when I started riding with my teammate. And after that was just
with the meetup rides.
Hammer.
Okay. And for anyone listening, I believe everyone probably who listens knows Zwift, but Zwift is an online training cycling simulation program that allows you to use a trainer, a device at home to ride on your bike and kind of move around in a virtual world. And it's like playing a video game with your bicycle.
Exactly.
Zwift. So you started riding. Now this is particular with Zwift. Have you done the big climbs? Have you done the what are the three big ones? Alpe d'Huez, Ventoux in France.
Yes.
And the Innsbruck KOM.
Yes.
Okay.
I've done all of it. So my first time on Ventoux was actually a Tour de Zwift ride. Is that event they'll do?
Yeah.
Like every couple of days they'll change the course. But it's like a group ride, but really people are racing it, right?
Yeah, they're pushing.
They still give you your time and your placement at the end. And I was pretty regular with those for that time they did it that year. So I remember they did the France one, and it started off and people were going like 25 miles an hour, 250 watts or whatever on the flats. And then it's just like I climbed for 12 miles after that, and I was just like, I did not know this was here. I didn't know this was even a course on Zwift.
Yeah,
but
it's that's a clear your schedule kind of ride, kind of climb.
Innsbruck isn't to me as bad. I would say that's probably the more mild of all of them.
Yeah.
Alpe d'Huez is probably my favorite. I've done that one a couple times.
Alpe d'Huez seems more scenic.
Yeah.
Alpe d'Huez seems more scenic than Ventoux. Like once you get up to the top, you know you're at the top. You can kind of the game lets you know.
And then once you come back down, it's hitting like 60 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Almost fell off my bike I was just like, I'm going so fast.
Have you done any bike races on Zwift? Because I tried to get you to join Team Creed, but you couldn't.
That was right when I started my structured training.
Have you done any races on Zwift?
Not any official races like that, no.
Okay, you've done like events where you went hard. Okay,
exactly. I would like to try so. Yeah, for sure.
Once you get out of the training mode, because clearly focus on your training, then real race season comes up.
Yes.
And then a week in there, when you have like a week where there's not a race and there's not a.
Every once in a while, I get training races that I have to do, like on my training schedule. They tell me to do a training race or put out race efforts.
Oh, okay.
So if I got one of those coming up,
yeah, you can sneak one in.
I can sneak a Zwift race in.
What's your average watts per kilogram?
Right now I'm at like.
Are you in the B or C? Like where do you think you? Well, you don't even know the categories. What's your average?
I'm in. I think I'm either 4 or 4.1.
Okay, then you're.
I think that's B or C.
No.
Don't put me in A. A.
Dude, I think that's.
It might be.
So D is 1 to 2.5 or so, 2.49. C is like 2.5 to 3.2, 3.3 to I think 4, and then I think it's 4 and up. So I think young man, you're in the A group.
That's relative.
You could lower that if you eat some more donuts.
There we go. There we go.
Bring your weight up.
I'm gonna do all the donut rides in Richmond from now on.
4 watts per kilogram or higher is A. There's some exceptions to that, but if you're riding at 4 watts per kilogram, then yeah, that puts you in the A group. Womp womp. That's not bad. That's great. You're putting out those watts, right? Just means you're gonna have
my watts per kilogram are only effective on like climbs because I'm light. Like everybody else is like dropping me on the flats almost. You know, I have to pedal to keep up with people on downhill sometimes.
Again, more donuts, and that will be prevented. You know, because that is clearly not a problem for me to go into downhill. Like I'm like putting my real weight in, I am singing like a rock. But yeah, because you're of a lighter weight frame, so like it makes sense that you would go up the hills, the shade faster. Getting to particulars of Zwift. So you just do rides and you do your workouts, right? You do your structured workouts on there, okay? Mm-hmm. So you haven't gotten, you probably not gotten that far into like what bikes you're using on Zwift yet.
They do make a difference.
Yep.
Right now, just because I've been doing mountain bike training, I actually I ride with the mountain bike sometimes on the pavement.
Yeah.
But I have played around with it.
Okay.
Everybody wants the Tron bike. I haven't gotten that yet.
The Tron bike is not the fastest bike in the game.
No, I don't.
It's
just a flashy.
Well, okay. So it's not the fastest bike in the game, but it's the fastest bike you can get, like before like level 45 or something like that. Like, you've got to be up there before you can even buy. It's like a combination of a certain frame and a certain wheel set, and then like that's more
the fastest
aero and lighter weight than the Tron bike. But the Tron bike is a status symbol.
Exactly.
You know? It's a considerable amount of climbing it takes to get it. And you can change the match your outfits.
This is true.
You know, you just have to pick the Everest challenge, which I hope you've done at this point. You have to pick the Everest challenge.
I don't remember if I picked it or not. Yeah, I have to check that.
You just need to go into the challenges, pick Everest, and that's just set and forget.
And just let it go.
Yeah, just let it climb.
I think they said like the cheat code for it is like do Alp to Zwift 25 times or something like that, and you win. That's it.
That's it.
I'm just like,
and that's it. Yeah.
That's it. That's it. It's not that bad.
Yeah, and if you do it as a workout, you then get around it even more, right? Because then you don't feel the terrain at all, and you'll still win the bike, but it's still 25 times up the thing. If you do it 5 times, you get a badge. It's a masochist.
Really?
If the 5th time you do Alp to Zwift.
I wonder if
there's a
I
badge.
might not have that badge yet.
It's called masochist or something like that. For doing it that many times.
I have heard of that before.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have that one, but I probably have the lamest badges ever. You completed this course.
All right. I'm sorry. I have to look now. General and cycling specific badges. Crap. Now I have to look. Where's the badge? Badge icon, habitual, addicted. There's one for Alp to Zwift, and I think there's one for 5 times, and I think there's one for 25 times.
Jeez.
Which is
I have no desire to be on the trainer that long. Like if I can do my workout outside, I'm gonna do it outside.
There we go. No, okay, I got it wrong. Avid climber is 5 times up the Alp, and masochist is 25 times up the climb. I've got the avid climber. Now that I know the masochist exists.
Come on. You got to go after it now?
I mean, yeah, I kind of want to. Like, I kind of want to. Only because it is a bit of a status symbol badge kind of thing. Like, to get to that point that you've gotten up the thing 25 times.
I mean, that's like...
30.
Yeah, see, I haven't gotten either. Yeah, I have no desire to do that. No. I don't like being on the train. I like it.
Yeah.
For like 30 minutes.
Really?
And then after that I'm just like, this is boring.
Really? Okay.
I'm very easily distracted. Like I'm somebody that I could be on Zwift, right?
Yeah.
And I'll have like a movie or a TV show playing in the background.
Yeah.
And even still, I'm probably on like TikTok or something on my cooldowns or like.
Yeah, no, I get quite immersed, and
Really?
I'm just riding just Zwift, and I'm just hearing the birds chirping in the game. Like I just get into, and I'm just like, yep, it's what I'm doing. I'm supposed to be on Zwift. This is what my life is, you know.
I was like that before, and then I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I don't like the suffering anymore.
Well, I mean, if most of your rides are you're going hard each and every time, then yes, it's like
that's
get
what
me
it
the
used
hell
to
off
be
this
for
bike.
me. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you're enjoying it, like you're doing a ride to complete an event, or like you're riding with people, then like I will get you to join, or at least I'll send an invite.
Mm-hmm.
There's I lead the Tuesday, Thursday Zwift rides, right?
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I lead.
I think you did invite me to one of the Tuesday ones once, maybe.
I host these rides for anyone really, but initially it was for Rabba.
Okay.
But Tuesday, Thursdays I host a ride 6:20 p.m. It's almost always 6:20. It's almost always 18 miles, roughly. Sometimes it's a little shorter because like we're going up the Alpe d'Huez, right? Nobody needs to climb any further than that.
Right.
Or some other climb where like it's going to take longer than an hour, so like I'll shorten the distance. But I host these rides, and I'll use the keep everyone together feature. You know this, right? And it will literally keeps everyone together.
Yeah.
Or at least tries to. So we'll have some A-Pace riders, Rabba A-Pace riders, not Zwift A-Pace, in the group with some like B or C-Pace riders kind of thing, and we're all riding together.
That's cool.
But we use Discord as well while we're doing the ride.
Talk. Okay.
So like we talk to each other while we're doing the thing.
You would just hear me breathing.
And you know what? And for some people, that's what it. I mean, for those people who like their setup or just like them riding is loud, like they definitely go into mute.
Yeah.
But I was getting to the point of every so often I'll do a ride where I don't have to keep everyone together on. I'll pick Tempest Fugit is the route, which is the
whole
really flat desert route loop.
That's what I do if I want to get like a lot of miles in
a short time.
In a short amount of time.
Have you ridden with the Cadence, the Pace Partners? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I definitely recommend the Pace Partners. The A and the B Pace Partners get a little bit lonely, but the C Pace Partners normally got a couple hundred to 1,000 people riding with her through there. But every so often on those Tuesday, Thursdays, I'll do an event which I've called Foxes and Hounds. And I will, when there's enough people, if there's like 12 people, it's great. 12 or more, 10 or more is also acceptable. But I will split the group up into 4 groups. And then we'll start the ride, and we'll ride together for like 5 minutes. And I'll let everyone know which group they're in. Yeah, so it's like a kind of ride together for 5 minutes. At the 5-minute mark, one of the groups will then get a 30 seconds to just haul ass, right? Everyone else keeps riding at a chill pace, and this other group gets 30 seconds to get out as far as they can. And then at the end of 30 seconds, everyone else has to chase down the person in the front of that group.
Okay.
And they have to keep sprinting until they catch the person in the front for up to 5 minutes. So if they catch them before 5 minutes, if someone catches the person in the front of the Fox group before 5 minutes, then everyone slows down. We chill out until the end of the time, and then we rest together for 5 minutes.
Okay.
But if they don't, and that person just keeps out front for the whole 5 minutes, we then stop either way and we regroup. But then that person didn't get caught, and then we'll chill out for 5 minutes, and then the next group we'll get to do it. But it's a time where people can like just haul ass, that kind of thing. I used to do it for 6 minutes, and I found that was a bit too brutal. Like that extra minute of going full throttle was a bit tough, and it was real tough to try to do a sprint, then chase a sprint down, rest, and then chase it. Like
Yep.
So 5 minutes seemed to be about the sweet spot on like how far to ride and how far to rest. But I will let you know, because we could use another fast person to chase down, or be chasing someone else down for that time frame. But that'll be Tuesday or Thursday. I normally let them know ahead of time, like this is when it's going to be. So
Okay.
that would also be, it's not quite a race level effort because you'll be resting for 5 minutes, but you can kind of like unfiltered, just like crush it.
Oh yeah, it's good intervals.
Yeah. So I'll let you know when I do that next.
Yeah.
Which might be in a few weeks. But I need to have enough people to do it. But either way, sometimes we'll do out to Zwift, which I think we're doing next Tuesday. I think I'm going to set it up next Tuesday. We'll be out to Zwift to just make everyone suffer as a group. Either way. You got your snacks. You use Strava, mountain biking, road biking. You got the gravel bike. Mm-hmm. What are the plans with the gravel bike?
So I originally kind of built it up because I wanted to try it in this cross series, and I ended up not even building it up in time. So it's kind of what I just ride when the trails are closed at Pocahontas. Mm-hmm. But that said, I do want to try a bunch of events, you know?
Okay.
So as long as it doesn't conflict with like another race or something, mm-hmm. I'm probably going to be doing some different kind of gravel races, that kind of thing. It's another way of doing, like, so to me, like, I like mountain biking because it's adventurous.
Yeah. Okay.
And gravel riding is very similar to that.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, yeah. You can get out there and just like enjoy views. You're checking out cool stuff. You know, you're going off the beaten path. You know.
Mm-hmm. Who taught you how to ride a bike? Or you just come out the womb on a bicycle?
Came out the womb with the bicycle. They had to C-section me, actually.
Yeah, don't let your mom hear that.
I came out wheels first. No, my stepdad actually taught me when I was probably about 5 years old.
Okay.
I started off with this used BMX bike, mm-hmm. crappy, coaster brakes. We went to Walmart to put training wheels on it. Mm-hmm. They were out of the black ones or the silver ones, so we put on pink training wheels.
Okay, training wheels.
So, I learned on my pink training wheels. I was the coolest kid in the neighborhood. And then soon after that, they just kind of took them off, and I was like, well.
Did you wear a helmet?
No, I never wore a helmet until like I started riding at Pocahontas. Did someone else tell you to wear a helmet, or did you think like, you know what, this seems serious, I should wear a helmet myself? No, so until I actually like started doing mountain biking and stupid stuff in the yard. Mm-hmm. Before that, my parents were like, go have fun.
Okay.
So that said, I am now an advocate of helmets all the time. Do not ride without a helmet. I've hit my head. And if I didn't have a helmet on, I probably would not be here.
Well, we're glad that you had a helmet. And yeah, yes, it's great if everyone would wear a helmet, because for that time you do fall and you bonk your head against something.
Takes one time.
But it's not until you know some riders, I don't know how to put this. Like it's not intuitive, because as a kid, I definitely didn't want to wear a helmet. Oh, yeah. I remember a helmet that I had, and it was not sexy.
Oh yeah,
I didn't want to wear it.
Yeah, everybody's like, I don't want to look like a dork. You're like,
right? Yeah.
You're gonna look like a dork.
Yep. Suck it up. You're gonna look like a dork, but everyone else is gonna look like a dork as well.
Exactly. So we all look like dorks together.
It's equal playing field.
You guys, you realize? Look, we're all out here in spandex. I mean,
oh my god. Speaking of that, when you started riding mountain bike, like when did you get like the spandex out? Like when did that happen? Or were you like riding in mountain bike like shorts and things like that, or did you immediately go to like, look, I'm a superhero?
When I first started riding, I was riding in like jeans, all right, And then it would be like shorts after that.
Yeah.
And then I actually went on my first road ride. It was what do they call it? The Moonlight Ride. The Anthem Moonlight Ride.
Yep. Yeah.
And my boss was like, I got a bike for you to ride, but you are not gonna have any fun if you don't wear padded shorts. And I was like, what? And he gave me some loose ones actually.
Yeah.
So like it was like baggy padded shorts. Baggy on the outside. It's not baggy on the inside. That'd be weird.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But like, like mountain bike.
Mountain biking.
Like mountain biking. Yeah. And the first thing I could think was just like, and everybody gets this feeling, but like I was just like, feels like I have a loaded diaper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was just like, this is not sexy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So actually for a while I did not have any. I was like, you can keep your spandex to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Even working at the shop. And then a little bit before I got my road bike, probably I started wearing spandex.
Yeah.
And I got past that ego pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's weird. Like, it's definitely weird. It's not in the. I mean, for some guy, maybe it's in their normal wardrobe.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not the norm.
No.
Right? Why am I wearing this? It feels weird.
Exactly.
You know?
Especially the loaded diaper part.
Right. At what point did you go shopping in your cycling kit?
Shopping?
Not like not like to the mall kind of thing, but like you ran into the grocery store. Like you finished your ride, you ran into the grocery store, still in kit kind of thing. Yeah. Not like, going to Target. Well, you could have went to Target. I guess, yeah. But
Target would be one I'd go to.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you're a cyclist at this point. Like if you go into the store in the kit, you're a cyclist. Like
I'm sure I've gone. Let's see. I'm sure I've gone to like Food Lion. Normally it's like a gas station or something.
Yeah.
Because I normally don't want to leave my bike in my car that long.
Yeah.
But like Food Lion, Walmart.
Okay.
I've probably gone to Kroger.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't go to like Kohl's. I wouldn't be like.
No, I wouldn't be in Kohl's. Like they'd probably be like, he's looking for something to wear right now.
Yeah. he's in a dire situation. Like that's all he's got. Okay. Well, you already shared like early memory of riding, so I won't ask that. So you meet someone, and I guess you do meet people that work in the bike shop who are interested in getting into riding. Like, what's the thing you share with these people who come in and like, I want to get into riding? Like, what's the
biggest thing is what kind of riding they want to do.
Okay.
And it's kind of hard because a lot of times the first answer you get is I don't know. So you're gonna have to kind of pull it out of them. Mm-hmm. So, where do you want to ride? Mm-hmm. Are you gonna be in your neighborhood? Are you going to Route 5 because everybody loves the Cap Trail? Yeah. A lot of people say I want to ride that trail that goes along Route 5.
Yeah.
I've heard people say I want to ride trails. That doesn't always mean they want to ride mountain bike trails.
Yeah.
So figuring out what kind of riding they want to do. The biggest thing I recommend is being comfortable. Finding a bike you're comfortable on. Because if you're not comfortable, you're going to hate it. It sucks. You're not going to want to do it again.
Yep.
So people that come in, they want to get into riding. I'm not going to push you towards a $2,000 bike unless that's like all I have. And even then, I'll probably be like, let me call a different shop.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is getting something that you're going to enjoy and that's going to be good for the type of riding you're going to do.
Yeah.
So like on the Cap Trail, you can ride a mountain bike. Mm-hmm. You can ride a hybrid. I'm going to recommend a road bike. Mm-hmm. But that said, we're going to do what's comfortable with you first. I've had people that started off on hybrids and then later on they were like, I think I'm ready for a road bike.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that because overall, even getting into cycling, you're going to get to that point where you're going to figure out what you want to do. Whether, you want to be the Cap Trail cruiser or, the guy that goes out to the group ride and always has to sprint on everybody. You can be anywhere in between that, you know? But at a certain point, this from starting out, you're going to have to figure out what your cycling journey is going to be. Yeah. So my goal is to just help you start the journey.
Okay. And that sounds like sound advice to figure out what kind of riding you would like to do. Right?
Exactly.
And let's try to accommodate that.
Or who you're riding with too.
That's a good point. Yeah. Right. Hopefully nobody's starting out with like a pro racer or something like that. Like a little bit more casual. But Micah, enjoy the conversation, man. I appreciate you, sharing your story, your experience of riding. I will definitely try to include you on some Zwift rides.
Yes, definitely.
Now I know how much you love riding on the trainer and staying on it for hours.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And we'll plan the rides at 6 a.m. It's a perfect.
It's
going to be great. It's going to be awesome.
Those are going to be the rides I don't go to. You'll get a text and be like, "Sorry, I overslept."
But you're already home. You can just sleep in the kit.
I have overslept Zwift rides.
Really?
100%. Yes.
Dude, come on, man.
I've overslept for a race before. It's sad.
I rarely plan a ride. It's only been a few times that I've actually done a ride on Zwift at 6 a.m. Mm-hmm. Outdoor rides, sure, but a ride on Zwift at 6 a.m. Yeah,
it doesn't sound fun to me at all.
It's an interesting way to start the day, though. But either way, I appreciate your time, man, and sharing your experience and your stories. And people might have questions about bike stuff. I'll direct them to you if they have questions, that kind of thing.
Definitely.
And thank you for your time, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you.